Okay, so welcome everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome. How was your day? Please, you could share in the chat how your day went by today. It's still 5, so some people will still be at work or just rounding up on their way home, or some people are just waking up. If you are on the other side of the world, you are about just waking up and getting ready for your day. Welcome. I'm glad to have you. It's still I've got cancer, so what? And my name is Flora Gaptoni. You can call me Flourishing Flora because I chose to flourish despite cancer and all the things that comes with it. So on this show, we just have an open space where we talk about cancer. There is nothing to hide about cancer, really. And I say it every time with my whole heart. There's no need to hide. As cancer warriors, as cancer survivors, we don't need to hide. Yes, we have cancer. So what? Should we not marry? Should we not love? Should somebody not give us jobs? So we are here to break all the stigma and just be bold and open about cancer. Last week, if you are with us, you will hear a story of Priscilla, how she's battling, how she's even living a peaceful life with wherever she's bearing around colorectal cancer. Today, she shared a text message with me to say, you know, since after coming on the show, people will reach out to her, people with cancer, breast cancer, or other types of, especially her own case, the colorectal cancer, to ask her for support, emotional support, ask her questions about how she's doing. And that's why we have this show, so that we can support one another. Sometimes as a cancer warrior or survivor, you lose your friends, your intimate friends. And we are the friends we have, the warriors, the survivors, the caregivers, and other people who around us support what we do. So we are our friends, we are our supporters, and that's what we do at Flourish Cancer Wellbeing Initiative. If you're just joining us, this is Flourish Cancer Wellbeing Initiative, and we are on our 9th episode of I've Got Cancer, So What? On this episode, we have Mrs. Mrs Olufunmilayo. She is going to share with us her cancer journey. In fact, you will be amazed how the little things we ignore, by the time we go back to it, it becomes so big that we start asking ourselves, what didn't we do right? Why should we like wasted that amount of time before we get to the doctor? And while we are still like waiting for other people to join, this is an open space. At every point of time you have questions as she is sharing, please share in the chat. And when she is done, we are going to leave the floor open for people to come in and just ask questions or even share perspective based on what she's sharing. And if you want to learn some of the things that have gone by from episode 1 to episode 8, the last Thursday one, please, we have social media platforms, YouTube platform at Flourish Cancer Wellbeing Initiative. The team will put it in the chat, so you can join us and watch all the other episodes. It's live there. We are sharing our story without hiding, and that's the way we are going to break down societal stigma against cancer warriors and survivors. If you're just joining us, this is our 9th episode, and welcome to I've Got Cancer, So What? And today we are having Mrs. Olufunmilayo Akinade, and she's going to share with us how impactful the words of a caregiver can be on recovery of cancer warriors. And when we talk about caregivers, they are not just people who helped you go through, like your family members, your friends. Caregivers are also doctors, the nurses, everyone, even the people in the lab, the diagnostic, all of them taking care of you, thinking about you as a cancer warrior. They are all caregivers. And if you're a caregiver, please stick around, because we would love you to learn and also share your experience caring for a cancer warrior. Mrs. Akinade is a breast cancer survivor and awareness advocate. In fact, I like her story because it's a bit about with mine. I wasn't waiting till I become cancer survivor before I went public. It just came to my mind, okay, Flora, you're going to fight this publicly. And that's how I went public with it. And she is passionate about addressing the stigma and just making sure that we are open about cancer. She is a certified trauma and stress management coach. And that could also be the reason why she managed her cancer journey. She will share more. And but last not but least, she is a wife, an amazing mother of 4. And please, let's all welcome Mrs. Olufunmilayo Akinade. Ma'am, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us and welcome, welcome. Let's meet you. How are you doing today? And then let's talk about just a brief about yourself and then how you came about your cancer diagnosis.
Okay. I am Olufunmilayo Akinade. I am a cancer survivor, a stage 4 metastasis cancer survivor. I am a wife, a mother, a teens teacher, a certified caregiver, a certified trauma and stress management coach. I have also undergone a cancer referral training, back to basics cancer referral training with Lakeshore Cancer Center. I am me. And I'm
I
glad
like
to
that.
be on this event tonight to educate and to let people know that, yes, we've got cancer, but then it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road either. We are good to live our good life, and we are here till God says we are coming home to rest.
Yes, thank you. I like the way you put it. Till God says we are coming home to rest. I used to tell people that if I die tomorrow, please don't say after a brief illness or after cancer battle. No, cancer did not kill me. I just died when God wanted me to die. Please, let's not give
Yes.
glory to cancer. And on this show today, we are going to learn more about Mrs. Fumilayo's journey. Let's start with, what were the symptoms you noticed that made you even go to the doctor in the first place?
I noticed a lump in my right breast. Though I didn't pay much attention to it, as I was of the opinion that, okay, it will go off by itself, blah, blah, blah. But on the second thought, my husband advised that I go to the clinic and have it checked so that I can know if it's anything to look out for, or if there is any medication or things that will have to be done. So that was why I had to go to the clinic and have the lump examined, and thereafter I was referred to a lab to get certain tests done. I was asked to do ultrasound. I was asked to run mammogram. I was asked to do, and after that, I was asked to do biopsy, which later confirmed that it is stage 2 ductal carcinoma.
Okay, so what next? So when you got the news, or how did you even get news at all? And then what happened? What was your reaction?
Well, I got the news on the 6th of January 2020, which was not a palatable news at all. And I was told I have stage 2 ductal carcinoma and I have to commence chemotherapy. That environment, or I would say that's still, each time I think about my cancer journey, that diagnosis brings me to tears, because that was, I would say, the worst news I've ever had in my life. Because the doctor just looked me straight in the eye and told me, "Madam, you've got cancer. It has come to stay. It is a 50-50 chance. You might lost the use of your fingers. Your skin will get darkened. You will you might not be able to give birth again, and it is a 50-50 chance of survival. So having heard that, I was devastated, and I decided that and vowed never to even go near the clinic ever again, let alone being told I will have to still go through such treatments or be told anything related to that. And that really affected my response and my readiness to accept care. Because if it had been in a different environment, if I had been well enlightened on the pros and cons of cancer, of chemotherapy, if it had been in a friendly environment, probably I would have taken the chemotherapy earlier than I did, because it wasn't that bad, but it would have been better if I had started the chemotherapy by January. I think that should be around 13th of January, instead of taking it much later by July of 2020.
So the words of the doctor, who is supposedly need to be a caregiver, was really like, when you think about it, saying to you it's 50-50 chance, and telling you all about the chemo, the darkening of the fingers, and the whole thing that will happen with your body. Like, that was the main reason why you, well, I'm not going to go for this treatment. What would have been different if the doctor had said something like, "Madam, okay, yes, you have cancer, but there is hope. It's stage 2 and it's still manageable. At this stage, we could just look at like different kinds of treatments and
Options.
options." What would have been different in your thoughts than just them telling you it's 50-50 chance of survival?
Yes, and that is what is still affecting many cancer survivors today. It is the atmosphere and the environment. The condition, the breakdown of the diagnosis matters a lot. Because, okay, let's look at a scenario. I walk into the clinic, I was giving my tests, and the doctor said, "Oh, madam, welcome. We understand the result shows you have cancer, either stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, but you can make it. You are good to go with your, once you just listen to your oncologist, come in for your treatments as when due, follow the treatment plan. In the next 6 months, you'll be cancer free. It is just a routine thing, and you can make it, you can survive." Look at Taye, she's 15 years, she has survived it. Look at Mrs. Kende, she's 10 years, she has survived it. I will have the hope and the resilience to really fight and win the fight against cancer. Because that I've been given 2 examples of people that have had the same disease, the same diagnosis, and yet they have survived. So I will have that feeling and the zeal to also fight and win the battle. But here am I was told it is 50-50 chance. You lost the use of your fingers, You might not be able to give birth. You become darkened. Your hair will go off. You might have so many other side effects. You may be stooling, vomiting, this and that. And he didn't even profile a solution to all the things he said. Just told me people come from Kaduna, people come from Jos, people come from Lagos. So yours is not too far away too. You just be coming every fortnight, every three weeks, and you take the treatment and go back home. So the 2 scenarios I've given now quite differs, because the first one is a diagnosis with hope and with encouragement, while the second one is just, this is your fate. You either take it or you leave it. So our caregivers, I will really employ them, and I will really wish they can do more in the process of breaking the news, explaining the diagnosis. I mean, the results, the outcome of the results to the patient, because the patient is coming for a place of, you are just blank. You are, even when it is in a place of hope and it is good, you are still trying to comprehend, to like dissect the information and weigh your chances or your choices, rather than it be in an I don't know which word to use now, in a very unpathetic atmosphere. You know, so it doesn't really, what the way we receive the news really matters, and it goes a long way to either make or mar the patient.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I feel that we just a little bit of how I perceived the whole cancer thing. And I think having a good caregiver, for me, it was just, she was just like so loving. Maybe because she's white, she's Indian, she was just like, oh, we have a news, but it's nothing, Flora, you can beat this. And that really made a lot of difference. And she said, I will just give you a referral to a cancer center, but it's something that you can deal with. We are still in the manageable stage, and that's the bit. It gave me a relief. I didn't even think about it twice. I went back to my office as I carried the result like that. To my office, and even the HR was asking me, I thought you went to the hospital. Yes, I told her, yes, they say I have cancer. And you are sitting down here doing your work. I said, what am I supposed to do? I should kill myself, I should laugh, I should cry. I've already, I'm taking it all in. I will go and see the doctor where they referred me to. I think her words were like, oh, this is lovely. She held my hand. I was like, you can do this. And as she was writing that referral, she's looking through, and to know that I am taking it very well. So let's get back to your story. So after he told you all that, what did you do?
I just came back home. It was a very long journey because I had to step out. I live in Lagos State, so I have to go to Abeokuta, Ogun State, where I did the biopsy and got the results. So I came back home, and like I said, I vowed never to even near even the primary health center, let alone go into a clinic where I will be asked to commence the chemotherapy. And I decided I was going to take supplements. And I was on the supplements from January 2020 till July 2020. That's 6 months. So by July, I had difficulty, I had palpitation, I had difficulty in breathing. I had breathlessness rather, not palpitation. I had difficulty in breathing. So I just asked a nurse near close to my house to come give me treat medication. So she said, Madam, I can't treat you. I have to know what I have to treat. So kindly do a wider test for me and let me know what is wrong with you so that I can give the appropriate medication. So I went to the lab and I discovered that they had an ultrasound machine so that I can get an ultrasound done on me to ascertain if actually the supplement is working and the lumps is coming down or growing. So the facility where I had the ultrasound done, the man had a black and white printer. So he told me that I should go to the other facility where they have a colored printer and I can have a clearer picture of what I'll be able to understand the results. So I agreed and I went ahead. So when I got there, the lab scientist just told me, Madam, what is wrong with you? I told him I have either fever or typhoid, and the woman, I just explained the whole story to him. So it said, why are you having the ultrasound? I told him I have breast cancer and I've been on supplements and I really want to know the size from the first diagnosis and now, because I still have the result of how big the lump is. So he just told me that is not what is affecting you. He said, asked me to look up, and I did. And he said, look, your lungs, one is filled up with fluid, and the second one is half gone. And that is why you are having the breathlessness and difficulty in breathing. That you have, immediately I leave the lab, I should go to an hospital and have myself examined. So jokingly that day, I told him, Shebi is just a minor, they will just pierce me with a needle and have the water drained out. The man laughed and he said, when you get there, you will get a better understanding of what you are there to do. And I said, okay, no problem. So joyfully, I quickly went to the clinic at the hospital so that I can have relief and I can go back home. So when I get there, got into the clinic, the consulting room, I told the doctor, this is what the lab scientist said, this is the result. And I was even telling him, you have to pierce me, kindly do it quickly so that I can go back home. So the doctor said, madam, you are, is like you are teaching me my job. Are you a doctor? I said, no. Are you a nurse? I said, no. So how come you know so much about what you are telling me? I said, is it that difficult? You just have to pierce my side here and have the water drained out. So he said, no, that even in the clinic, in the hospital where I am, they can't perform that procedure, that they have to refer me to a teaching hospital, either Lutz or Lasut. That was when I knew there is fire on the mountain. I have to be on guard. So I started asking questions. Is it that bad? What is my fate and what has to be done? So he asked me, do you have cancer? I said, yes, I was diagnosed in January, but I declined chemotherapy. He said, you would have taken the chemotherapy. That is the effect. That is why I'm having the water in my lungs, that the cancer is spreading. And he pleaded with me that I should please go to the clinic, to the hospital, and have myself examined. So he gave me a referral letter. It was about referring me to either Lut or Lasut, but my health manager declined and referred me to another clinic in Lagos State. From there, I was referred again to another clinic, and I ended up at Lakeshore Cancer Center, where I was being managed. And to the glory of God, I started the treatments, and God took all the glory.
I like the smile on your face, really, because when you were talking about you analyzing the whole situation as if you've turned from being you are now the doctor, you are now telling the doctors what to do. And
what I just to do, you can imagine me, because I don't know better.
Yes,
but and now I know better.
I'm just trying for us to go back a bit. Imagine you just in the space of 6 months, fluid has entered into like your lungs. I just want us to pause and really,
it wasn't just the lungs, it went to the spine as well.
Can you imagine what would have happened? What would have happened if you had maybe started off the treatment as at when told? And we're also going to maybe in the next few minutes talk about the supplements and all the things that they bring to us to take. But where I'm going to now is this morning when I posted this on our NCS platform, and Dr. Ishak was like, this is at the point where we need to start talking, being positive about cancer. Had it been a doctor said something nicer, not giving you the 50-50 options and all that, you would have gone for your treatment. And this is what kills majority of cancer warriors. Majority of them is the fear, the fact that, oh, you cannot survive it, why bother? Like there's a lot of the negativity that comes with it. And at the time when you are going to make a decision to say, let me go to the doctor, it has gotten to your spine, to other parts of the body.
To my
Sometimes
bone.
it's something that you cannot even manage anymore. And that's why we are shouting and screaming and asking people, please, whatever it is, it's not even just cancer, God myself. When you notice
every ailment,
just go to the doctor.
Early detection saves all ailments.
Yes. I know some doctors can be like, they like doing over things, like just to take money, but at every point in time, and go to the doctor, especially women and their breasts and their cervix and their there's always something happening around our ovaries because of reproductive system. The whole thing, there is a lot happening. If it's not endometriosis, it is adenomyosis. If it's not cyst, is this one. So at every point in time, because as we are growing and having all the reproductive system working for us and against us, we need to keep checking how effective they are. And I'm glad that you even went back after 6 months. What would have happened if you didn't go back and you went back after 1 year? What do you think would have happened?
Probably I would have been dead by now. Because even the 6 months was like, you need to see me. I was like double my age. Because I could remember the oncologist at the clinic the day I went in. They were like, Ma, how are you? So they were like referring me to like an elderly person. So it's got to say I had to tell them, I am only 45. Stop stop addressing me as if I am a grandma or something. So the doctor, she's a very jovial doctor. She just said, are you that young? I said, yes, cancer made me who they turned me to this. So she was like, she showed empathy and said, how come, what happened? So she was really interested in the story. I explained everything to her, and she was like, I wish I can see that doctor that gave you the diagnosis. Because you know, now they are pure oncologists. This is an oncology clinic. So they were like, we are trying to save people here, and they are giving bad diagnosis and sending them back home. Now, what if I didn't summon the courage and I have to come back and get myself treated? And even at that, I had to spend that. She even analyzed that if it had been in stage 2, I would have spent less than 1 million. And with the stage 4, I had to spend 7.5 million, which I still had a reoccurrence because they are, and with now different management. It's now had to be a combination of medications. I was given medication for the treatment. I was also being managed for the bones, given zolendronic. I was first placed on alendronic, later zolendronic, a combination of many treatments now to manage me, which wouldn't have been necessary if I had taken the treatments in this earlier, because I think I finished the chemotherapy by November. That's in a space of 5 months plus. So if I had started the chemotherapy by that January 2020, I would have even finished around April, May, and I would have been probably not have any reoccurrence or any relapse. But because I declined due to the way the information or the diagnosis was being explained to me, nobody, I told my husband, it is in my body, and I wasn't having any discharge, I wasn't having any pain. Let me live my normal life. At least I know I can live with this, rather than going, get maybe one chemotherapy and I'm dead. I still have my young children to nurse. I have my husband to cater for. So that was why I declined. If it were to be in a favorable condition, I would have taken the chemotherapy earlier, saved myself the stress, the cancer spreading to other parts of the body, and I would have spent much lesser than I did.
Thank you. I don't even want us to go to the money part today, because that one is a whole
It's another
discussion.
story.
It's a whole discussion about, and sometimes I don't want to blame the doctors or the hospitals, but it's a long, in fact, we are going to have a panel session for that. We'll have the doctors and how they are, putting all the bills. Now, let's not get to the money part. Let's just talk about, because when we talk about the finances that is involved in treating cancer, it's also causing the loads of deaths that we are having in the world, in Nigeria, and even some parts of Africa country. The kind of the bills, the drugs. Imagine for you to even do a PET scan. Just a PET scan at must be cure. If you don't have 730, I'd be 750,000, I'd be 800. The last time I asked them was 730,000. If you don't
It's more than that now.
Oh, okay. That was last year. I think I asked them last year. I've done it twice, really. But if you don't have, tell me how many people in this Nigeria, like in those that could afford for one test that will not even take up to 1 hour, you are paying 750,000. Now it could be 800. And yes, I know that things like they are importing some of the things that they are using, but there is also the issue of monopoly. Can somebody tell me the reason why our government cannot have 2 or 3 PET scan everywhere? But if you
you are even going far referring to PET scan. Talk about CT scan machine. How many facilities have that?
Even the government owns 40,000 in different hospitals, but yeah, as at
it's 150 now for pelvic and abdomen.
As well.
Chest, pelvic, and abdomen.
Anyway, thank you for sharing. We have someone's hand up, but before I bring her to speak, I need you to go to talk to us about your diagnosis, like your treatment. So you've decided to go through the treatment, you went through you took some drugs and all that. What happened? Because I remember asking you earlier, they didn't do surgery, you just went through chemotherapy. What about the radiotherapy? How was the treatment, and you going back for analysis, and where are you now?
Yes, like I said, I started the chemotherapy by July after the chest tube insertion was done to drain the water, the fluid from both lungs. So after that, I commenced chemotherapy. I took 4 cycles of epirubicin and also 4 cycles of paclitaxel. And by November 2020, I was certified cancer-free and I finished my 8 cycles. And so I was asked to come in for quarterly review, do CT scan, full blood counts, and all that. So by March, I think February, I had December, January, February. I went in by February 2021 to do the CT scan and do review. And it was discovered that the fluids were coming back. So I was asked, the oncologist decided that, okay, I'll have to have another line of chemotherapy, and they have to decide on which one would work better for me. I've been taking 8 cycles before, and there's a reoccurrence so early. And the type of cancer that was discovered is a triple negative, which is a little bit difficult to manage, and the reoccurrence happens fast. So another line of chemotherapy was decided, and this time around I was asked to take capecitabine, that is Xeluda. And I took 8 cycles again of the Xeluda. That was, I think I started, okay, before the decision was made, I think between February and May rather, I was asked to run another scan to ascertain if the fluid is going down or if it's going up. No, I had a complaint. I started having breathlessness again. So I reached out to the oncologist and he suggested I come in for a CT scan and some tests to determine what is wrong with me. So after doing the CT scan, it was discovered I have to do X-ray again, and it was discovered that the lungs were almost filled again. So I had to hold on with the chemotherapy, and the chest tube insertion was done again. And because of the speed at which the fluid were gathering up, the chest tube insertion has to be done simultaneously, like this, side by side. The first one was alternated. I think a month interval was given before the second, between the chest tube drainage. But this time around, both were done at the same time. So I had both lungs being pierced, and the procedure was done. So getting up from the bed, I have to hold both kegs because the fluid were draining. So it wasn't a palatable experience at all. But God spared my life. I went through it and commenced the chemotherapy. So I had to start the chemotherapy by July, because the drainage was done. The drainage was done by, I think, June. Is it June or July? I know it was done in July, because then the HMO has declined continuation of to sponsor the treatment. So we have to source for fund. That was why it took that long before I could have the procedure done and also commence chemotherapy. So we have to pay out of pocket, which was not funny at all. But in all, I was able to tolerate it, and I commenced the chemotherapy, and it started by July 2021 and ended by December 2021. And there again, I was certified cancer-free, and I was going for quarterly review. And by February 2023, another lump was discovered in the left breast. In between that, by December, I think in 2022, I was asked to do a BRCA test. BRCA test is to ascertain, to check the gene, because of the triple negative, to check if it is genetic or hereditary. So the result came out negative, that it is not genetic induced. I didn't inherit the gene from my parents. It just happened. I'm just 1 out of 10 that has just been run in the family. So after that, I commenced last year. It was discovered again that I have a lump in the left breast. A biopsy was done, a mammogram was done, and it was discovered it is ER negative. So in the same body, I have I have had two different diagnoses of cancer. The right one is triple negative, the left one is ER negative. And I am being placed on hormonal chemotherapy to help control because I am post-menopausal. So I'm placed on letrozole, and also to manage the bone, I am placed on zoledronic acid infusion. I'm been taking that monthly, and the letrozole is on a monthly, on a 28-day cycle. After that, I'll go in for blood check for LFT and calcium to monitor my calcium level before both medications will be given. Here am I bless God, because despite all I've been through, God has been faithful, and He has held my hand, and I am still here. I'm not going anywhere soon.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I know that you're not going anywhere. I'm glad, I don't even know how you're calling all those names, whether you are a doctor, Because me, if you ask me you ask me all the medications and everything that I chose not to even bother. But the way you are
I
calling
choose
me,
to know because that helps me know what I am being given and
yeah,
what I am taking.
I
And it
can see
also
that.
helps me to manage the side effects, because
Okay.
I can easily, whenever I notice any changes in my body, I just, oh, okay, it's been said that letrozole will give you joint pain, and I can easily be rest assured that, okay, it is coming from there and I can manage it well, rather than always running to the clinic or being afraid that probably the cancer is coming back. So
Okay.
knowing
I
the
like it.
names and the medications help me put me at rest to know what and what to expect. That is why
Okay.
I choose to know.
Maybe I should ask the audience how many of us take notes of all the drugs that are being given. But I'm going to open the floor now. I know Tebelo has had her hand up earlier, and I don't know how to just talk about the whole processes that had gone through. And I wish there is a doctor in the house who can explain why this, I don't want to call it reoccurrence, as in after drainage, then something else would pump the fluid inside the lungs or spine. What are the reasons for all this? I think the next episode we should bring a doctor to educate us on some of these things. Are there things that we are doing that is causing all this fluid getting there, or is it something that needs to be done earlier enough or before treatment so that this fluid can be prevented? I spoke with someone today. She's she's home now, but then it's still the case of fluid getting stored on her around her lungs and everywhere. We need to find maybe
I
a
think
sustainable.
is the cancer coming back. That's what my oncologist explained to me. That those are the signs and symptoms that the cancer hasn't totally cleared off and is coming back,
Wow.
especially with triple negative breast cancer.
Okay. All right. Tabelo, you can just unmute and speak. And if you have questions and if you want to share anything, please raise your hands, or you can share in the chat. We can use it to also, like, engage everyone. You can share your own just briefly, and then we'll ask lots of questions to learn. Tabelo, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Flora. Hello, everyone. This is Debella from Lesotho. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity, the information session about cancer. I've got my input in the chat box. Please, everyone, go through my comments, and I hope to connect with you whenever you'll be holding your sessions again. I am learning a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. She's my colleague from Closeto. Welcome. Okay, let's get to Peggy. Peggy, what do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Can you hear me? Hello. Oh,
We can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
okay. Good evening, everyone. I listened to. Okay, good evening, everyone. I listened to Mrs. Akinade. Okay, I listened to Mrs. Akinade, and it just took me down memory lane. When I had my own diagnosis, I met a very nasty doctor. Yeah. He just said to me, he said, madam, let me check you. I don't want to start going through the whole story. It's quite long. So let me just give you the story about the doctor. So I got to him. I was referred to him. I got to him and he said, I went with my biopsy results. And he said, there's no need to look at the biopsy now. Just take up your clothes. Let me check. And in his office,
your line is breaking.
And in his office, there were lots of student doctors, you know, and other people. I know that they were not all doctors, so I felt that whatever it was, I should have at least had that.
We can't hear what you are saying. Your line is actually breaking. We can't hear what you are saying.
Can you hear me now?
Hello. It's better now.
It's better. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can't hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, madam.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Network.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is that okay? So I just so I got to his office, and his office was full with people. Yeah. Okay, of people in the office. And he just said, I was trying to even give him my I was even trying to give him my biopsy results. And he was like, don't as he said, there's no need to look at.
I wish we can hear you better. Your network is really bad. Do you want to log off and just come back? Let's see if your network.
I think some other admin, I don't even know what was going on. You know, that kind of thing, you're the person.
Is it just me, or is everyone not hearing? Peggy, we can't hear what you are saying. Maybe you can. We can't hear what you are saying. You can.
Came out of the window and took up my clothes. He just checked. It's cancer now. That was how you broke it to me. This is cancer now. Where is your husband? I said my husband is out in town. Because I live in Kaduna.
Hey, it's really bad. Okay, I'm going to cut you off a bit and ask you to rejoin. We can't hear what you are saying. Peggy, we can't hear what you are saying. Please, she can't hear. She can't hear.
That day was a Friday.
Hello, Peggy. Can you hear me? Peggy, can you hear me? Hello.
I should come back.
We can't hear what you are saying. So sorry, we can't hear. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute you now. We can't hear what you are saying. Okay. I'm going to share in the chat.
Between Monday and Wednesday.
You can't even hear me, and she's just speaking. Meanwhile, we can't hear what she's saying.
She just commented.
Okay.
And do the surgery. See, just like that. Even if it is what you said, hello.
Or you can log off and then come back. Maybe it will get better, because that's your gist. We need to hear it. And I think one of the things I picked from what she said was about getting to the doctor's office and just realize that there are so many people, no privacy. And I had that particular issue the first hospital I went to. In fact, there are loads of what do you call it now? Trainee doctors. Like, If the doctor didn't even open my file, the trainee doctors were the ones opening my files and now telling the doctor who was busy pressing something. Is either he's pressing his phone or he's saying something on the laptop, and then they were telling him some things from the biopsy and from everything. And I say, Jesus Christ. Oh no, I'm not going to. At least I need the doctor to be looking at me. He wasn't even looking at me. It was like, okay, they were telling him, and he was just like pressing his laptop, looking at his phone. At the end of the day, Madam, can I examine you? Okay, there's more to this than you just examine me. Can you just hear me out? And I think that's what she's saying about just not having that intimate time with the doctor to actually share what is happening to you. All right, Peggy has rejoined. If any of us have question, our time is fast spent. But if you have question, please share in the chat. Or if you want to contribute, you can raise your hand. Peggy, you can go ahead. Let's see if your network is better. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's better.
Okay. Okay. So let me just hurry up and just say what I want to say because of the network. So I met this very nasty doctor, very, very nasty doctor. And he did not even bother to take his time to look at my biopsy results. He just asked me to take my student doctors in the office. And I felt that if for something of this magnitude, I felt we should have that privacy, or he should even give me a pep talk first. But when I took off my clothes, he now said, this is cancer.
The network again.
Peggy, please, can you share in the chat? We need to move on. Can you share in the chat?
I said my husband was out of back between Friday. To come back between that Friday and the next Wednesday. And just come immediately to come. He said his words were immediately.
Peggy, we are struggling to hear you, but we are struggling to hear what you are saying. And unfortunately, we are going to move on. We are struggling to hear you.
Really bad.
Yes, it is.
Really bad.
Please, you can share in the chat. Let's move on. So now we are back to what the doctors share with us and how they say it to us. And that's the essence of this show today. And I would like that as many of us who are here who had experienced cancer or any kind of illness, have there been any time where the doctor's words or the caregiver's words, it could be the doctor, it could be the caregivers at home, at any point in time where their words meant something to you? I remember someone sharing at the early days when I started this cancer journey, someone sharing something about his experience with his mother who was diagnosed with cancer. And at a point, because there is no money, the woman is suffering, and the children were like, maybe it's better you are dead. They are just trying to be good children, to say, just for the fact that we can't take care of you, we don't have money, but maybe it's better you are dead. And within 6 months, this woman died. And you know what? Maybe another voice would have been, let's fight for you. We'll go and look for money. Mommy, you are going to leave. And no, even though they don't have ways to raise the money, but that words, the hope And the fact that for someone who is already at the brink of death, and whatever you are saying to the person means so much. And maybe in her mind, she's saying, let me take these children away from this suffering and just give up. So what we say, how we say it to our family members who are going through any kind of disease, whether it's cancer, whether it's endometriosis. I remember, like, the way it is being said will take away the pain and will bring hope than just taking it out there to say, you have cancer. Yeah, your finger, you lose your fingers, you lose your color, your hair will fall off. Like it's so dampening. It's so dampening. Peggy, okay. Yeah, Peggy said my network is shared. Baby next time. Yes, please. Okay. Yes. Peggy, Victor will get across to you. We have slots, I think in July or so, that if you want to share your story, and we are asking everybody here, if you want to share your story with the world. I think the essence of us having this platform as cancer warriors, survivors, and even caregivers, doctors, and all doctors are invited as well. We come and we share as family going through cancer. Some of us are going through the highest form of it. Other people are just like at the middle. Other ones are just like, okay, we've gone through our treatment, we are just there. But then when we come together like this, we share. So if you want to share your story, if you want to be part of this, you can drop your number in the chat. The team will pick your number and reach out to you, and we'll check through our schedule and see the time we can book you to be here. There is nothing, really. There's nothing to hide about cancer. And I keep saying it to everybody. Like some people say they are stigmatized against. I've never felt stigmatized about any cancer, because where would you start to stigmatize me? Is it when you know that my story is everywhere on social media? From the very first day I was diagnosed, I was saying it on
I
YouTube.
wonder.
There's nothing
It's
to
because
stigmatize.
we are not open about it. That is where the stigmatization comes from. Anybody that comes in contact with me, I don't bother. I care who you are. I will tell you I survived cancer. It is not left for you to start asking the question, how come you don't look like it? Then it's left for you. I've said I've moved on.
You go. In fact, it's amazing how just coming out to talk about this cancer thing and the way we share it with people, it makes all the difference in the lives of people we are connected with. I tell you guys, every other day, someone will reach out to me. Yesterday, someone reached out to me from the US, and I was ready. Where did you get my number? She said someone gave her my number, but the person wants to remain anonymous. You see my life? And that's how I'll be talking. Maybe I've gone for any advocacy, and someone say, oh, are you Flora? And in our prayer group, somebody raised your name in prayer. I say, who is the person? The person will say, I don't know. They just say, we are putting Flora in prayer. She's going through her chemo. And you see, the world is praying for you, because my story is everywhere on the internet. And why would I die? Why would I die when millions of people are praying for me? Angels everywhere coming from different. Like, it's what are we hiding? Tomorrow I have a meeting with the Lagos State Archdiocese. We are going to start spirituality, Catholic advocacy on cancer. We are going to churches. We will start talking about, there's nothing to hide. If I know we are doing Jesus and Virgin Mary everywhere, but in the name of Jesus, you need to also come out and say that you have these things.
Take care of your health.
And take care of your health. So please, if you want to join us, please reach out, drop your number. We can reach out to you. Be open wherever you are. I can't reach out to everybody. And even if I want to do advocacy, I can do it only in Lagos where I stay. We need people in Port Harcourt, in every part of the world, talking about cancer. Let people stop saying that we are dead people. We have more survivors than we even have dead people.
Than those that are dead.
Yes.
And cancer is not contagious, because some feel that it is contagious and they tend to leave the people to die. It is not contagious. It is not an arrow. It is an health issue.
Yes.
Let's learn that.
And there's no devil around it. is devil caused by devil. No, I don't believe all
It's
the
not
devil.
the village people at work.
It's not village. Oh, God bless you. So we just a health condition. And how do we fight health condition? The same way we go about treating malaria, talking to people.
That
Oh, I
is
have
just
headache.
treating
Oh, I have
treating typhoid, treating HIV. If HIV can get cured, why not cancer? If they can live their normal life, why
need
not
to talk
cancer
about
survivors?
we need to talk about it and being intentional about really talking about it. And there is
Yes.
nothing, really,
Let's
there
keep
is
ringing
nothing.
the bell until everybody come to realize that yes, cancer is not a death sentence. It can be treated, and
Yes.
early detections helps in the treatment as well.
Okay.
And our caregivers should learn to do better. They should learn to the proper way. They should learn to show empathy in bringing our diagnosis into us. We are human. So they should just start, like, I once met a nurse who told me she works in one of the government hospitals in the cancer ward. And she's telling me, you see, then meanwhile that day I was in a car, I was stranded and I need to get to the clinic for my treatment. So I boarded her car. I sat right beside her in the front. And here my skin is darkened, my fingers were darkened. And you say you are a nurse. So she was like, I work in the state hospital. I am a nurse in the ward, and I just look at them, hopeless cases. They will spend money and they will still die. I'm like, how come you know that they can die? Why can't you like give them? Say, oh, can cancer be treated? They will spend millions of naira, and at the end of the day, they will see that we have so many of them. So I told her that we have had cases of people surviving. I didn't tell her I am more, but I have to raise my hands to her for her to like know the signs and really say, are you on treatment or something? Lo and behold, she didn't notice because she has made up her mind that none of the people can survive. We should learn to change this narrative.
Can you imagine
I have people that survive stage 4 colorectal cancer. I have people that I am a survivor too. I survived stage 4 breast cancer. So we are survivors. We are making it. I've had 20 years survivor in my group. I have 12 years. I have 16 years. I think the list is about 10 years. And I am 5 years survivor as well. So we are good. We are coming out of this ailment. We are surviving it. The medication, the chemotherapy is working. Let us change the narrative. Not everybody, those some that die, they have other morbidity, how do I put it now, other ailments. It cannot be cancer survivor having hypertension, having diabetics. So that is a pretty much way to, it's pretty difficult to manage. They have to monitor the BP, they have to monitor the diabetes. So that can predispose the person to further complications, and thereby he or she might not make it. But amidst of that, we have other people making and surviving cancer, even outside Nigeria, in Nigeria, and other sub-Saharan Africa. We are making it. We are coming out of it. So let us change the narrative wherever we find ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. This is so beautiful. I don't know how to say this, but if a nurse who is supposed to care for us is saying that we are hopeless, we'll just spend our millions and we'll still die, then I wonder where the hope
care for us.
Yes, I wonder where the hope is going to come from. I just wonder where the hope is going to come from. Please, let's keep talking about
survivors now. I think I like what the survivor groups are doing now, like what you are doing, Flora. We coming out to speak for ourselves is giving people hope that yes, I've got it, I survived it. I think the survivor story is now what we really help people and change that narrative faster and better.
Yes.
Because them listening to our story, we give them yes, Akinade survived it, Flora survived it, Oshinaike survived it, then I can also survive it.
Yes, yes. And that's the message that we are going to to start spreading from today. The message of hope. And Dr. Ishak said it in the platform, NCS platform today. It's just the message of hope. And I tell you, if we all are singing this message of hope and saying to people, yes, I've got cancer, and so what? And so what? And if we are all saying it, and cancer warriors and survivors are coming out openly to talk about their journey, I think the less stigmatized we'll be. I think the people will not have a reason to stigmatize against us,
stigmatize us anymore, and they won't even be afraid to go for their checks too.
Yes, yes. And if death comes, but then it's not that you're going to just give up hope and then wait for death to come. Whenever death comes, that's fine. We are going to talk about death in one of the shows. I'm waiting for one lady. She says she's not ready to talk about it, but whenever she's ready, we'll talk about death. Why are we even afraid to die? Really? We'll get to
people
that
die.
point.
People sleep and don't wake up. Like
Abigail
Simeon, as you always say, you will die when you are destined to die.
Yes.
So people die of cardiac arrest, people die of diabetics, people die of HIV, people die while even crossing the road. So why should we be afraid that we've got cancer?
Thank you everyone for joining. Our time is fast spent, but I wish there are other people who would maybe want to share one or two things. I could see some of my colleagues in the industry here. I don't know if they want to just say hello or hi to us. And just, I'm beautified, I can see you. I can see some other people. Just to say, we are all fighting the same fights, and we are hoping that we will get to a point where there's nowhere to hide. I'm not going to hide about anything. And I live my life and move on every minute of the day. In fact, if there's something else to do tomorrow, I want to do it. I keep going. Death will come when it will come, and I'm not going to stay here and be pushing. Please, let's speak up, let's share, let's connect one another, and think through some of the journey that we've had. Anyone wants to help us with some closeout? Mrs. Akinade, your last words. We're almost done.
There is hope for cancer survivors. Your cancer diagnosis is not a death sentence. There is hope, and have faith in God that, yes, I've got cancer, you've got cancer, we've got cancer, but then we can also survive cancer.
Thank you. We have to. Okay, we have Odwak. Please go ahead quickly before we close out. Please go ahead, Mr. Udwak, Mr. or Mrs. Please go ahead. Your hand is raised. Please, can you unmute yourself? Please unmute yourself and speak. I don't think. Oh, okay. She's on the road. Please unmute yourself. You are speaking. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Click the unmute button, the mute button. We can't hear what you are saying. Okay. Let me see. Click the mute, the microphone button. There's a microphone button in front of your phone, just by the side. Just touch it. Just click on the microphone button. Can you unmute now? You are still muted.
Can't you see it? Watermelon.
Please share the watermelon. No, we are here.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, I'm actually on the road.
It's fine.
Okay. I've been on the show right from when we started this evening. There hasn't been a time Mrs. A- Akinade said that she did surgery. So I wanted to ask is it that one can actually go through this journey without doing surgery?
That's a good question, Miss Akinade.
Okay. Yes, I never had surgery because I am one of the lucky ones because the tumor, the lump shrinked on its own, came down, went away on its own with the chemotherapy. So there was no
Wow.
need for me to do surgery. Neither did I do radiation. So I only had chemotherapy and I'm good to go.
Okay.
Wow.
So it
I
depends on the body and the person. You know, our body differs and our response. We can have people go through chemotherapy and the lump is still a sizable one, so they will have to remove it. But in my own case, it was about, I think, more than 6 centimeters or thereabouts. So the whole thing went on its own. Likewise, the second one in the left breast as well. It's gradually coming down. So there is no need for me to go through chemotherapy as well.
okay. Let me share my experience. Um, I was diagnosed in September. By October 18th last year, I started chemo. I did 4 sessions and I was told to go for surgery. Even when the surgeon checked and said the thing has reduced from whether T1 to T0, I was still asked to go for surgery. So I went for the surgery. The first thing was taken to the lab. When the results came out in January, because I did the surgery on the 11th of January this year, when the results came out, there was no malignancy found anywhere. The lymph nodes, everything was benign. So even the doctors were saying that they've never seen this kind of case before. That's in the history of their profession. Somebody who had a tumor, they now did surgery, took the specimen to the lab, nothing was found. But when I took the results to the oncologist, he still insisted that I must finish my chemo. So I'm surprised
Which
because
which clinic is
I
that,
personally
madam?
said I personally thought I would not go for chemo again when the results came out benign.
Did you
Which
did
hospital are
he
you being
ask?
managed, madam? In
Okay,
which hospital is that?
Afupo Comprehensive Cancer Center in Calabar.
I think
Is a
another.
private clinic.
It's a private hospital, yes.
Are you sure they are they are real oncologists? You would have. I do tell people that come what may. It's always good to go to a state hospital where you'll be managed by an oncologist. Because
Yes,
take it or leave it, cancer is the new dollar in town. Is the new petroleum.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so
Having
many doctors are really
other.
cashing out on cancer patients.
Yeah.
They know by them carrying out surgery on you, it brings money for them. And for you to also take the chemotherapy, it's money for them.
it's
So
money for them.
I've always advocate that people should have, if it means have your 10 opinion, have your first, second, third, fourth,
Yes.
fifth opinion.
Yes. Go
Have
to different
sample
hospitals.
opinions and then come to a decision.
Yeah.
I tell people I sample opinions a lot.
Yes.
I ask questions from
Yeah.
survivors, from online, from doctors. My past doctors, they are no longer in the facility where I've been taking treatment, but I still consult them before taking any decision. because they know my case from history, from the beginning. So even now that they are no longer with me, they can still view what I, at least if I explain to them, you know, I've undergone this, I've done this, this is where I am now, what should I do? So please, we should, like one of our survivors always tell that, advocate for yourself, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
If you speak to Dr. A and he's not ready to listen to you, go to Dr. B. If he or she is not ready to listen to you, go to Dr. C. By the time you go to like 10, 4 doctors and you are making your points known, they would rather shift ground for you. You own your body, you know how it affects you. So you should speak for yourselves, please. Let's learn to speak for ourselves.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It's really, really important. I remember the doctor, the hospital I went to, in fact, I told them that I'm going to go on social media. That was when the CEO of the organization, the owner of the hospital, now called me for discussion, because I said I'm going to take them on social media if I don't get my results. So sometimes you just need to say it and be bold about, is our bodies, our money.
Be bold and be insistent.
Okay, let's hear Miss
David.
You
are attended to.
Ms. David, can we hear you briefly so that we can end quickly? Please unmute yourself, Mrs. David. Click the yes. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I have the wrong name there.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? It's my son's
yes
name. Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Oh, okay.
Flora is me. It's Ogo Hennes here. Mrs. Mrs. Akinade, I hope I pronounce your name well. You said your doctor told you were
Akinade. You pronounce the name Akin and Ade.
Okay, how is it
not
pronounced?
Together, it is single N.
Okay, how is this pronounced? How is it pronounced?
Yeah, Akin Ade.
Akin Ade, okay.
Akin Ade.
Okay, forgive me. So my question is,
no problems, you are pardoned.
When the doctor told you you were cancer free, what test did he do? What did he use to tell? How did he determine that?
Yes, it is a CT scan.
Just by CT scan?
Yes. My oncologists believe that it is better because it shows every part of your body rather than the CA, that's the tumor marker. Yes.
Tumor markers are not enough. Okay, I just wanted to know because sometimes you need more than CT scan to be able to say something like that, because that might be giving
they've monitored me, and after the treatment and the quarterly, because in between the treatment you have to still come in for review. How are you faring? How are you this? So they discovered that where the primary site, that is the breast, the tumor is no longer there. It has gone away, and there is no metastasis to any part of the body again. But I do tell people, never say never with cancer. You can be certified free in January, and February the cancer is back.
Yeah, they needed a PT scan to do that, to be able to tell you assuredly like the cancer is not there. So sometimes it's scary to give people fake, hope that are not real. I tell people, never let your guard down with cancer. You have to keep, even if they tell you go home, you are fine. That's not true. Go home and keep doing what you have to do to keep it sleeping, keep it dead. Don't go home and say, oh, they told me I'm cancer free. Then you stop doing all the things that you should be doing, which one of these days I'll be talking about. There are things you should be doing to stop reoccurrence. Don't go home and say I'm cancer free, then you eat the wrong food, then you don't exercise, then you don't sleep well, then you don't detoxify yourself. There are things you have to keep doing for the rest of your life. It's a lifestyle change. When you have cancer, you can't stop. You have to keep fighting and protecting yourself. Even if you're not doing chemo or radiation, you have to keep doing those things that we know that can trigger a reoccurrence. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ma.
So is going to come on the show. Let me just review who she is. She's the one that called me, that's root for me from the US. And since yesterday, I've been asking her who gave you my number. She refused to say. But she's going to share because her husband survived stage 4 cancer. And also she survived her own diagnosis. She's going to tell us. But she's coming on the show to also share with us some of the things that we could explore based on her own analysis and being a registered nurse for years. So we are going to have her on the show. We are still going to plan that, how she's going to come in and share her experience and her her husband's own. They have a program they are also running. She will tell us about that when she comes on the show. Ms. Sogo, welcome. Welcome. Thank you,
Flora. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have one hand up. I think she has brought down her hands. Neka had her hand up yet before. But then she has brought. So we need to go now. It's almost 6:30. And I just want to thank everyone for coming on this show. We keep we're just here to talk. There's no flyer, there's not flyer, what do you call it? There's no manuscript, and whatever we are saying is coming from the heart, and we just want to be here for one another. We are going to be back in April, second Thursday in April and third Thursday in April, just to share, and we are going to have either a caregiver or a survivor or a warrior come and share their experience. Please, if you know anyone who needs to be part of this, please bring them along as you're coming and spread the message. We are just here to talk and express ourselves and laugh and pray and just be fine, because we know we are going to survive and beat cancer. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you next in our next episode, our 10th episode, which is going to be for Punky. We don't know who is coming on yet, but we'll see how. I'll check with the team to know who they have on their list. Thank you, everyone, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you so much for having me on the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Akinade.
I'm really glad I can help educate some people.
Yes, yes. And God will keeping you in the survivor list. We are here to just keep testifying. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Have a blessed evening, everyone.
Yes. Bye. Have a blessed evening. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.